Now on KOAM, the 4 states came together to celebrate Easter today. We'll take you out to several events in the community. Plus, the George Washington Carver Museum talks about Carver's relationship with faith. And we have details on an early morning investigation in Webb City.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Cale Chapman. Earlier this morning, police officers in Webb City discovered an unresponsive female behind a home after being alerted to a disturbance in the neighborhood. It was after 3 o'clock this morning when officers responded to the disturbance in the 1000 block of West 1st Street. In a media release, Webb City Police Chief Don Melton said, quote, "Officers began CPR until EMS arrived on the scene. The victim was transported to a local hospital where she was pronounced deceased." Webb City Police are investigating this case as a homicide. According to the press release, Webb City PD believes the incident is an isolated one and that the victim was targeted. An autopsy is scheduled for later this week. We'll keep you updated as more information becomes available. The George Washington Carver Museum in Diamond, Missouri hosted a special event today titled George Washington Carver, a Man of Great Faith. The event taught museum visitors about how George Washington Carver grew up on the Moses Carver farm and exercised his faith out in nature. Carver regularly tried to get in touch with his faith on early morning walks.
There's also his faith, and he was a very spiritual man and had a lot of faith, and so throughout his entire life, God was a huge part of his life. And so what we're talking about today is we're talking about his faith.
The George Washington Carver Museum has special events all year long. Myrtle Lodge number 149 hosted their annual Easter egg hunt in Joplin this year. The group was at Ewart Park in Joplin, hiding eggs around the park. Candy was given out to the kids, and some of the eggs were special. They had numbers written on them, which kids could turn in for cash. After the Easter egg hunt, the lodge served hot dogs to the families and the community members in need.
As you can see, we get turnouts. You know, we have weather, this and that, but every year we have a nice turnout. And also, you know, we also for the kids, and then also it's a good time we can feed the homeless people that's here in the area.
They didn't use plastic eggs, but instead hard-boiled and colored around 350 eggs, which reportedly will be eaten by Willie Rogers Jr. himself. Celebration Church in Joplin invited the children, youth, and community members out for an Easter egg extravaganza. Complete with activities, games, and prizes, the church wanted to teach kids about the real reason of Easter.
This day means to me of just being with the Lord and being with the reason that, you know, he resurrected for us, that he died on the cross for our sins, and we just need to be mindful and thankful for that, just not today, but for every day.
Celebration Church filled 600 eggs with candy and trinkets. Liberty Baptist Church in Pittsburgh held an Easter egg hunt for not only their church family, but the whole community. The church served pulled pork lunch and sides. The church family had to make more as numbers for their Easter egg hunt grew.
We wanted to do something for the community. Our motto here is loving God and serving Him, serving others and loving them, and we want to serve the community. And so we put a Facebook ad out there for an Easter egg hunt, and it really took off.
Liberty Baptist Church had one golden egg with a cash prize. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now for a first look at the weather.
And boy, we had a beautiful day to be outside enjoying those Easter egg hunts and spending time with family and friends. Easter was a beautiful day across the area, and radar right now is all clear. And we look off towards the west. We did have some showers earlier out west of Wichita and also northwestern Oklahoma and also north of Oklahoma City, but those showers are starting to dissipate just a little bit. It's all part of a disturbance that's moving into the upper atmosphere across Oklahoma and Texas this evening. We have more energy back behind it that will move across our area tomorrow, which could spark a few scattered showers and storms in our area. Not expecting a whole lot from it, but we'll keep an eye on it. Monday showers looking down the lane, a warm week ahead, as well as some Saturday storms next Saturday, and then cooler behind that system. And of course, I'll tell you all about that in just a little bit.
Native plants are continuing to sprout and grow across the nation this spring. However, so are invasive species. While the Missouri Department of Conservation has a list of the 30 most common invasive plants in the state, The Callery pears, burning bush, and miscanthus grass are some of the most common in the Ozarks. Experts explain why it's important to take control measures for the plants, whether they're young or mature.
These invasive species just grow so fast and steal such nutrients and then shade out the ground cover that our native plants don't get a chance to grow. So that's what makes them so bad, and they can grow to such thickets that basically no other plant can compete.
Resources including controlling invasive plants and native alternatives can be found on the Conservation Department's website. Mansfield police officer Michael Bryson is home after a week of recovering from a car crash. Officer Bryson left the hospital on Friday and returned to Mansfield with a police escort.
A lot of people here in Mansfield ready to welcome Officer Shane Bryson home to finish his recovery.
It's been a variety of emotions running through Chief Tim Stewart's mind this week.
It's everything from just not understanding to anger to extremely happy to, I couldn't be happier for the outcome that Officer Bryson's had and just trying to rally around him and pick him up.
He's humbled by the community support.
Truly humbling. I mean, our community has always come out and supported not only the police department, but the fire department, EMS, and all first responders. I mean, it didn't surprise me, not a bit. I mean, our community's really rallied together, especially after this incident.
Investigators say a drunk driver hit Officer Shane Bryson's car in the early morning hours of April 1st. A firefighter in Bryson's car, Justin Sanders, died that night.
Justin Sanders was everybody's friend, including his first responder family. I mean, I know they're grieving, and like I said, we're all in this together.
But today, community members put on a smile, grabbed some flags, and made some signs, all to say, "Welcome home, Officer Bryson." As for his recovery,
about 8 weeks, and he'll hopefully be healed. We're just gonna have to wait and see.
Chief Stewart tells me he's thankful for the community for their support during this difficult week.
The pickup driver that hit Bryson's patrol car, driven by 21-year-old Cody Skaggs, was charged with DWI resulting in death and DWI resulting in serious injury. Coming up, political action surrounding the abortion pill mifepristone continues. Plus, students continued to protest at the Tennessee State Capitol this weekend. We'll take you there. Both sides of the political aisle are reacting to the rulings on the abortion pill mifepristone. Democrats are vowing to fight restrictions, while some Republicans are urging caution about how far their party should go when it comes to the issue. CBS News correspondent Christian Benavidez reports.
Hands off the abortion pill!
The political fallout of those dueling rulings on the abortion pill mifepristone is coming into focus as Democrats vow to fight restrictions. Some, like New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, calling for the FDA to ignore the ruling by Texas federal judge Matthew Kacsmaryk that would invalidate the drug's FDA approval.
This ruling is in extreme abuse of power.
It's something the Secretary of Health and Human Services said was not out of the question.
Everything is on the table. The president said that way back when the Dobbs decision came out.
A counter ruling by Washington State federal judge Thomas Rice blocked the FDA from making any changes to mifepristone's availability in 17 Democrat-led states and Washington, D.C. that sued to expand access.
So it inherently creates what we call a circuit split, which kind of means it has to go to the Supreme Court.
On the heels of the Texas ruling, Iowa's Republican Attorney General has halted a state practice of paying for abortions or emergency contraception for rape victims. Still, some Republicans, like South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, are urging the GOP to take a more measured approach.
We can win this issue at the ballot box if we show up with reasonable positions. If we have our head in the sand, we're going to lose.
In what was largely seen as a referendum on abortion, on Tuesday, Wisconsin voters elected by double digits a liberal candidate to the state Supreme Court, flipping majority control from conservatives, which will likely lead to an end to the state's abortion ban. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
The Biden administration has already appealed the Texas ruling on mifepristone, which is not set to take effect until Friday. A fire aboard a fishing boat in Tacoma, Washington started yesterday and continued into today as authorities work to extinguish the blaze. Videos filmed by Twitter user at TJ24Hours showed firefighters working to control and extinguish the fire aboard the Kodiak Enterprise. According to the Washington State Department of Ecology, there was no spill, but a boom was placed around the ship as a precaution. This weekend, people from across Tennessee came together once again to march for gun control. This march was the latest in several in downtown Nashville in the aftermath of the deadly shooting at the Covenant School.
Since 6 innocent lives were taken away at the hands of gun violence, the community is hurting. Here lies a memorial on the steps of the Capitol for the Covenant School shooting victims. People of all ages are tired, they're scared, and they're demanding change.
This is what democracy looks like.
People of all ages showed up in the masses, hoping lawmakers hear their cries.
When I go to school every day, there's a voice in the back of my head saying, am I gonna be safe? Like, am I gonna actually get to go home and see my parents tonight?
It's the reality these Williamson County high school students say they face all the time.
Every time there's a knock on an outside door, every time there's a passing period, I just feel this sense of dread, and even if it's momentary, it just grips me, and I can't shake it.
Our number one question that we have for our teachers now is where is our hideout spot if a shooter were to come into a school, which is not a question we should have to ask our teachers.
Shaking off that fear is never easy.
It's not just school shootings. It's mass shootings everywhere. No matter if it's a mass shooting or even just a murder, I mean, the gun issue in this country is ridiculous at this point. Something has to be done, and that's why we're here today.
Especially when these tragedies are happening in your backyard, like the Covenant School shooting.
One of the women who was killed lived in my neighborhood, Miss Cynthia Peak, and the kids who I babysit, some of their best friends were killed.
These students are fighting for tougher gun control laws.
We're not just gonna watch this happen and sit passively and wait for someone else to take change.
The teens encourage everyone to head to the polls.
Every single vote counts. We saw it with Gloria Johnson. She was one vote away from being ousted next to her colleagues.
And march, because in their hearts and minds, they believe it's the only true way to make change happen.
You ban books, you ban track, kids are still in body bags.
It doesn't really help get rid of the fear of living in our schools, but knowing we're doing something to change it helps us a little bit as far as coping with that fear and making sure that we're actually doing something to prevent the next group of students from feeling the same way that we do.
Around 100 people walked from Public Square Park to the Capitol building. A little later, Brock joins us with all our sports highlights from today. That'll be later on in sports.
And we had a beautiful weekend across the area, but is it going to continue into the work week? Well, I'll have the answer when we come back. Well, friends, we have had a gorgeous holiday weekend across the 4 states. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, and light winds. And it was just absolutely perfect again today. And let's take a look outside right now in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the Venus there in the background, way in the background, starting to set, but a pretty nice evening shaping up across the area. I wish I could say the same about the allergies, but they've been bad. Today, 11.1 on the scale of 12, and tomorrow, a hair better at 10.9, and that's due to the increased moisture in the air with some possible showers. But no showers to be found on radar right now. In fact, it's all clear, but a little bit back towards the west. We did have some showers north of Oklahoma City earlier this evening, also south and west of Wichita, and some severe storms, and still some severe storms south of Lubbock right now. But the activity is starting to wane just a little bit. It's all part of an upper level storm system that's moving across Oklahoma and Texas this evening. You can see that on the satellite view. There is more energy back towards the west, and that will start to make its impact in our area as we head through the day tomorrow. So we'll see another flare up of some showers, but it doesn't look like a major system at this point. Temperatures right now are very pleasant, generally in the 50s and 60s, 54 in Monette for one of the cooler readings, 62 in Pittsburgh right now, 65 in Chanute, and 63 for our friends over there in Sedan. Let's take a look at the temperature right now in Joplin, 60 degrees, and of course east southwest wind at 9, dew point is 46, so the humidity is at 60%, and in Pittsburgh you can see the flag flying just a little bit on east southeasterly winds at 7, 61 degrees right now with a dew point of 48. Rain chances are going to be low for the most part, but we'll start to see a little bit of a spike in the afternoon hours with those scattered showers and storms across our area. Not expecting a widespread rain event. Maybe some isolated spots get maybe a ½ inch or more, but most areas are going to see less than 2/10 of an inch with some of those passing showers and storms as we head through the day tomorrow. Temperatures tonight are going to be dropping down into the 50s and 40s with the scattered showers mainly up towards the north. Then as we head through the day tomorrow, we'll see those scattered storms here and there across our area with highs in the upper 60s to lower 70s on south winds. Then as we go through Tuesday morning, we'll see lows generally in the 40s and 50s with southerly winds, and then Tuesday afternoon looks pretty good. Temperatures in the upper 60s to mid 70s in many locations on those southerly winds. And then as we go into Wednesday morning, we'll see lows dropping down into the 50s in the eastern sections, maybe a 49-degree reading, 48 over there in Cassville. All right, let's take a look at the nation. We're expecting cooler than normal weather after we go through the weekend into early part of next week, and that extends all the way over to the west coast and warmer on the east coast. Over the next 7 days, here you can see the 20% chance of showers tomorrow. Then we turn dry for Tuesday through Friday. Then late Friday into early Saturday, we could see some more storms. And again on Saturday afternoon, some of those storms could be strong or severe, so it's important to be keeping advised on that. And then significantly cooler behind that system, a low of 40 degrees by Monday morning. Wouldn't be surprised to see some 30s as well. So it's still not a bad forecast for spring like here in the 4 states.
No, not very bad. I mean, it's pretty typical for April so
Absolutely.
far. All righty. Well, thank you, Sam. Coming up in sports, we'll take a look at the current MIAA baseball and softball standings, and we'll get a recap of the 2023 Masters.
Happy Easter, everyone, and can you believe it? We're only approximately 3 weeks away from the end of the MIAA baseball and softball regular season. Both Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State are both well in the mix, but things are starting to heat up down the stretch. Let's take a look at the MIAA baseball standings. Missouri Southern just completed a big series against Central Missouri over the weekend. As of now, Central Missouri stays in first place with Missouri Southern in second place. But the third spot is Pittsburgh State. If things currently hold for next Friday, the Gorillas have a chance to take over first place when they host Central Missouri for a 3-game series in Pittsburgh starting on Friday. Central Oklahoma and Washburn round out the top 5, but they are both very much well into the mix. Let's take a look at the MIAA softball standings now. Missouri Southern all alone in first place. They control their own destiny the rest of the way. Currently, in their 10-game winning streak, that's played a major factor for Missouri Southern's success. Central Oklahoma trails in at second place. Rogers State in there at third. Washburn in there at fourth place. And Central Missouri at fifth place. Pittsburgh State is currently tied for seventh place, but there's still plenty of time for the Gorillas to make a run. But time is short. Both Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State are home next weekend. There will be no shortage of any softball action on the diamond. The Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals are on the road for this Easter Sunday. The Royals were off to a dreadful start, but they turned some things around, and they come into Sunday with a chance to sweep the Giants this weekend. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they come into today with a chance to win a big divisional series on the road. Let's start things in Milwaukee. Cardinals versus Brewers. Starting in the third, no score. Willie Adames hits that deep to left, but that'll stay in the ballpark. 2 runs will score. It's 2-0 Milwaukee. 4th inning now, same score. Jordan Walker. Stay hot, young man. Nolan Arenado will come around to score. Redbirds down 2-1. 5th inning now, Milwaukee up 2-1. Willie Adames hits it over the fence this time. Goodbye home run. Solo shot makes it 3-1 Brewers. To the 7th now, same score. Christian Yelich at the plate. 400 feet dead center, and that ball is gone. 4-1 Brewers lead it. And, well, cheeseheads for everyone. Brewers beat the Cardinals 6-1, and they take the series. In the Bay Area now, it's the Royals and the Giants. Chris Bubich on the mound. Dealing the third, no score. He gets Hoyt Ramos swinging. Next batter, Bryce Johnson, take a seat. To the next batter, Dario Estrada, a little tapper to the mound. Chris Bubich would strike out 9 hitters in this game, tying for his career high. To the 4th inning, Salvador Perez, line drive, base hit. He's starting to heat up. Vinny Pasquantino will come around to score. 1-0 Kansas City. To the bottom of the 8th, same score. Wilmer Flores at the plate. Down the third base line, and he keeps it fair. Bryce Johnson comes racing around third base. and he will be safe at home plate. Game is now tied 1-1. We'll head to the next batter. Michael Conforto comes up to the plate for the Giants. Big situation here. Pitch home, right down the middle. High drive, right field, and it is out of here. Giants hang on to that lead as they defeat the Royals 3-1, and San Francisco avoids the sweep. It's a tradition unlike any other. Nothing can compare to a Sunday at the Masters at Augusta National. The leaderboard had quite a lot of movement in day 4. What a beautiful day it was at the golf course. Let's start things off for the shot of the day. Sarit Thigala chipping it in from the gallery, using that hill. That one gets in there for birdie. Thigala would finish the day 5 under now. Now we'll head to the leaderboards as it's Jon Rahm versus Brooks Koepka. Par 4 at the 14th. Rahm with the birdie putt, 4 feet out. He buries it. Jon Rahm in the lead at 12 under par. Here to the par 3 at the 16th. Koepka bends in a beautiful 20-foot putt for birdie. A little too late. Koepka is tied for second at 8 under. Here's Jon Rahm with a walk up to the 18th green. Standing ovation. Just gives you chills right here. Here is his putt for the final stroke of the day, and he buries it. Jon Rahm wins the 2023 Masters, his second career major he has won, and man, that green jacket is going to fit just right for Mr. Jon Rahm. And that will be it with sports. We'll be right back after this.
The latest big screen blockbuster based on a video game debuted at the top of the leaderboard. David Daniel has early estimates for this weekend's top box office.
There's a darkness inside of me.
Scream 6 passed the 100 million mark in domestic box office with a 5th place weekend worth $3.3 million. Air took the cord in 4th place. The feel-good flick about Nike signing Michael Jordan opened with a better than expected $14.47 million. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves fell more than 60% in its sophomore weekend, landing in 3rd place with $14.5 million.
Bonjour, Monsieur Wick, and welcome to La Resistance.
John Wick Chapter 4 is at $147 million domestic after a 2nd place weekend worth $14.6 million. The Super Mario Bros. Movie scored big, earning $146.4 million Friday through Sunday and $204.6 million in its first 5 days, both better than any other film this year. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It's like a pretty fun weekend. I know a lot of people were excited to get out to the movies.
Yeah, or outside, as it's been perfect weather, and it looks like we have a little bit of a bump tomorrow with some scattered showers, but we go right back into the pleasant weather through most of the work week, and then more storms next Saturday. Some of those could be strong, and then significantly cooler behind that system with temperatures dropping close to 39 or 40 degrees by Monday morning, but still typical for this time of year and for the 4 states.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, it's going to be an enjoyable next couple of days for sure.
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, that's our time for now. Thanks for making us a part of your night.